made things run a little bit late. We had a little confusion with
Fresh, you
people
make it?
entering and throwing and so forth. But
Oh, that's
we're
good.
going to get
So,
through it here,
give me two.
and we're going to go now.
Yeah, I hate that.
So I want to welcome you to the 2020
632.
Indiana Masters. I want to thank our sponsors, the Anderson-Madison County Visitors Bureau,
Oh, wait a minute. You're already.
Motive Bowling, Pinheads Bowling and Entertainment, Indiana State USBC, Big Four Sox, and Mike Olby's Arrowhead Bowling. You'll be bowling 3 qualifying games. After each game, skip 6 pair and bowl up to 7. Please use the same letter all 3 games. Follow wherever the arrows are. This
I'll
one
get
here
over it
is
at some
really
point.
important, so I
Might
hope
take
you
weeks.
listen because it is each
Weeks,
bowler's
maybe days.
responsibility to record and verify that your scores are correct. It's each bowler's responsibility to record and verify that your scores are correct.
Are you leaving?
I'm gonna stick around and watch for a little bit.
After all 4 squads, we're going to cut to the top 24.
Do you wanna talk a while
top 16
with me?
going into
I can
match
do
play.
that. You want me to?
Yeah, take pop a seat.
Where you're running a side pot special that is $10. It's going to be at least $40
I've talked all
per
day.
game. And the high game of the squad wins an entry into the tournament, or the Scratch Classic, or the Queens. Side pots will be available until practice is over. Once practice is over, you can only use a dry towel on any ball, and no surface adjustments. Even if you've not used that ball yet, you can't sand it and then start using it. At this time, we want to recognize the past champions we have bowling on this squad. I don't know the names, but I know that TJ Schmidt, who won the Indiana Scratch Classic in 2017 and the Indiana Masters in 2017, is bowling. As well as Mike Lish, who won the Masters in 2015. And John Burbidge, who won the Masters in 2014.
Are you doing the psychots?
Mark Sullivan, who won the Masters in 2012. Randy Robertson, who won the Masters in 2008.
You can give me money, but you ain't gonna get it back.
Who won the Masters in 2006. This time you can please stand, remove all hats and everything.
Looking for something fun to do in Anderson and Madison County? Hi, this is Matt Rust from the Anderson-Madison County Visitors Bureau. Let us help you find things to see and do in Anderson and Madison County. The Visitors Center is located at I-69 and exit 226 across from Culver's in Anderson. Pick up a copy of our latest Discover magazine, our new Madison County map, and an Indiana Festival guide. Visit our website at visitandersonmadisoncounty.com. The fun starts here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Savage Bowling TV's presentation of the 2020 Indiana State Masters here from Championship Lanes in Anderson, Indiana. We're in squad number 3. Technically supposed to be the 430 squad. We're going to be roughly about 520. 5 guys and gals on a pair. We do have some ladies bowling this weekend, which is great to see. And 3 squads here so far sold out. Joining me here, Scott Gilmore and Chris Seyfarth is in the broadcast booth. Chad Lester off to our right, taking care of switching lanes back and forth. We're going to watch 9 and 10. You'll see 7, 8, 11, and 12 off to your left and right. And then we have 5 and 6. And you'll see a little bit of 3, 4, 7, 8 on your left and right as well. We'll go over some of the notable players that we do have in our cross here this afternoon. And Chris, we both bowled, and a little bit of a grind out there. 40-foot pattern that, boy, really got tricky as you move from pair to pair because you're skipping six pairs and bowling on the 7th. So it makes it very tough to make adjustments because parts of the house all have its own little subtle differences.
Right. Yeah, it's very key to try and get comfortable as quick as you possibly can because you want to try and make those best shots, and then if you do happen to get something off and running, you can see the shots and know how to make those adjustments from lane to lane. The pins are kind of lively today, but it's a matter of kind of keeping the ball in front of you and making yourself get to the pocket and leave something easy to pick up because it's very easy to leave an exotic count up here for sure with this type of a pattern. Yeah,
and it really... You'll be able to throw some strikes, but boy, your misses, you better have spares that you can make, and you got to make them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There's no room for error when it comes to those easy spares to make.
Well, if you're looking for additional results on the State Masters, you can go on your smartphone and download the Team app. You should be able to go on if you have an iPhone or a Samsung, you should be able to go in and download that. And then you can find the Indiana State USBC, and you can mention or pick up results from the Masters and even the Indiana Scratch Classic. The Indiana State USBC has all of their information on this app. It's really handy. It keeps everything up to date. I can just click here on the Masters, go to standings, then it has all these PDFs that Jeff Circle and his staff have uploaded, and bam, I go right to the standings, and Josh Myers is our leader with a 687.
That's a big score.
Yeah, I mean, that's like 750.
That's a huge score.
And maybe even more than that. But right now, 16th is Ryan Birchfield at plus 41, and I don't think that's going to make the top 16. That number is probably going to I'm guessing, Chris, maybe closer to plus 50.
Yep, I would agree.
And That's higher than last year. I believe 630 was a good number for the top 16 last year. So,
Yeah, that sounds right.
what do you, I mean, I don't know how much you remember last year, but to me, this year seems like a little more hook.
Yep.
And if you can control the hook, you have some success.
That's the biggest key is, can you control the hook? Can you find the right ball, get it in your hand, and be able to blend out the back end and keep it close to the pocket to either strike and or make those easy leaves. That's the key for sure.
Right now we're looking at lanes 9 and 10. Charles Kirby on this pair. I believe also Randy Robertson, a past Indiana Masters champion from Evansville. Unfortunately, I love Randy to death, but he beat me that year. So that was back in 2008, which seems like not that long ago, but man, it's hard to believe that's 11 years ago, 12 years ago. So
Time flies.
yeah, it does, especially when you're bowling, because all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, you know, I'm still competitive, and then all of a sudden 50 comes real close. But then you have bowlers like Mark Sullivan, who, I mean, he defies the odds of age, and I always felt like Mark's like a really expensive bottle of wine. It just gets better the older it gets. So, and he's out here trying to make the cut.
Is he bowling again?
He's bowling. He was on the waiting list and then snuck in, one of the last guys to get in. And really, kudos to the staff here. I mean, we have 3 sold-out squads, and you got to imagine, Chris, that the 8. I don't know what time that's going to be, but
Right.
was supposed to be 8 o'clock, but probably the 8:30 quarter till 9 squad is probably going to be pretty full. Boy, that's going to be a late night.
It will be, yeah. And yeah, again, just as you mentioned, kudos to Jeff Circle and his tournament staff. They've done just a fantastic job with this event over the years, and that's not to say that they're doing a fantastic job again today. They just a great job, just a great tournament. This is one of those events, kind of like his Scratch Classic tournament. Every bowler in Indiana looks forward to that event.
Yeah, Matt Sanders was kind of the first one. We talked to Matt at the Indiana Scratch Classic, and Matt Sanders, obviously not bowling this weekend. He was down in Oklahoma bowling on the PBA Tour, and he stated at the Scratch Classic that, you know, there's the Triple Crown of Indiana, and it's the Scratch Classic, then the Ebonite Lafayette Open, and then now you have the Indiana State Masters, and you know, what do all 3 of those tournaments have in common? Real tough shot.
Absolutely. Yep. It's definitely a true testament to those bowlers who do well, and for the staff to keep the legitimacy of those events. It's just, as you mentioned, I consider those myself also the Triple Crown, and it's just, you guys do a really good job.
Well, and Gene Perez and T.J. Schmidt are the only 2 that have accomplished that feat.
Sure.
And you know, when you think about those things, obviously I'll never be able to complete that because I run the Lafayette Open, and I'm okay with that. After scores from this past year, I mean, they were brutal. But, you know, you come here to this event, and I think what really gets me is when you just look down, you know, if you're down here where we're at, like 5, 6, 7, 8, and you look down to the end pairs, 43 and 44, the massive amount of people, and not that, but the massive amount of bowling balls that are in this facility right now. We were guessing somewhere around 1,000 to 1,200 bowling balls in this bowling center right now.
I don't disagree with that.
And it's tough to get around here, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure the fire marshal would not be very happy about that if he walked in here right now.
Yeah, you know, hopefully he's not watching the live stream right now. But anyway, we'll try to go over scoring when we get those after each game. Matter of fact, right now you're looking at Trent Burns, a Ball State alum from Indianapolis, here on lane number 10. Obviously, you can't see the scores, but you'll kind of get an idea of, you know, boy, and you know, a great example here is he leaves the 3-7-10, which is makeable, by the way. Charles Kirby comes in light and somehow leaves a 6-pin. But, you know, you see this hook, you see this hook, you see this hook, and you think, okay, I'm going to go left or right based on if you're left-handed or right-handed, and then you leave something what Trent does.
Yep. It's very mind-boggling, and it's confusing at the same time because you think you throw a great shot and the ball wiggles, or it sees an early friction and takes off. And in the case of Trent's shot, it looks like it just wiggled just a bit, and it looked like physically he threw it pretty well. And there he fantastic pickup.
That's how you make it.
That's great.
See, I told you it was makeable. Thank you, Trent. Now, we'll talk a lot more about the State Masters as we go through here with Chris Safarth, Scott Gilmore here on Savage Bowling TV from Championship Lanes in Anderson, Indiana. And, Chris, I know you bowled a tournament last month that I've really wanted to try to get in, and that was the Holiday Doubles. Amazing the number of teams they get, and there's no re-entry, and that's what's even more amazing. Well over 200 individual bowlers in that tournament. What were your experiences there, and how much do you enjoy that event?
You know, that was my first time doing it, and it was an amazing experience because you got the cream of the crop. You got a lot of the PBA stars are there, and a lot of very well-known amateurs across the nation are coming in for this event. I believe it's $10,000 for first. I think they contest the tournament on a house shot, but that doesn't mean it's easy by any means. But it's a really awesome format. A lot of bowling, a lot of good bowling going on, and it's just it's something that I plan on getting into each and every year because it's something that people look forward to. As soon as that tournament is opened up, it's sold out within the first 30 minutes to an hour. So it's
you don't plan to bowl the Holiday Doubles on December 12th.
No.
You plan to bowl that in September, October,
Right.
because when that thing opens up, you have to enter.
Yeah, and what's really kind of neat about the whole ordeal is they even let you know when you're done with your squad, you have the opportunity to pay for your spot for the following year. So if you have any inkling that you're going to try and bowl, you better go ahead and pay your spot.
Yeah,
it's not going to be
absolutely.
available.
Well, and of course, Jerry Anderson and he does a phenomenal job, and that's kind of his baby. I know Mike Flanagan has a lot to do with that, with Inside Bowling.
Yep.
But that's Jerry's baby, and he does a fantastic job with it. And I know he's really built that. And that tournament's been around a long time.
Yep, it has.
And some greats have won that. I mean, you go back in history into the 90s and find out, who's won that tournament, and it's the who's who of the Midwest. Now, that tournament has moved around a little bit, but it's pretty much stayed in that St. Louis area for its inception, and I've always wanted to go. Of course, it's not like this. I mean, it's a wall.
It is.
And it's a house shop, and you got to strike.
You do. It is a strike fest, no doubt.
And doesn't mean there's no pressure, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, you know that you have to get the first one in the 10th, let's say, but it's against a team of, just say, Pete Weber and his partner. So there's a lot of pressure on any given shot.
All right, Jackson Cross there just striking on lane number 6. Jackson from Lafayette, Indiana, and former Purdue Boilermaker on the bowling team. And you know a little bit about that, bowling for Purdue. And you bowled 4 years for the school and had quite a bit of success. And we were talking with a few other people, and Jalen Mosley, one of them, who now is not bowling for his respected school, sitting out, looking to transfer closer to home. And I told Jalen, enjoy. Get on the right team with the right group of guys and enjoy it, because some of the best times and days of your bowling career will come from it.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it any better. I had the best 4 years of my time bowling-wise there at Purdue. We had such a great team, good chemistry, and we all bowled well together. And you're a family, both the men and the women's team. And so it was just a really awesome time in my life for sure.
And it just flies by.
Oh, it flies by. You get to the first day on site, on campus, and you're like, this is going to be a very long 4 years, and I'm going to enjoy every minute of it. And then you're blinking your eye, and then you're graduating, and it's over. It's crazy.
When's the last time you've been over at Purdue?
It's been a couple years.
It's totally changed.
Has it? Yeah, it's been a while.
You need to go over there.
Okay.
Go there. Take a little trip in the summertime where you could walk around and relax and around the fountain. But I'm telling you, you won't recognize half of it.
I've read that they've made some changes on campus, but I have not to visually see it, so we'll have to.
It's really.
There.
I'll say this
Is it
about
for the better.
Oh yes, I will say this about Purdue University. They have a image that they portray, and they stay right with it. All the buildings are brick. All the new additions and things that they're doing are staying with that history. History that it has with how they've designed all of the campus. And what's amazing, Chris, is you'll go there, and all of the apartment complexes, the high rises that are going up on State Street. You really need to go. You'll be amazed when you go see it. So, and then they're shutting off some of the roadways. Cars can't go through there anymore, and more bigger bike paths and walking paths. They've done a phenomenal job with it. So.
We'll have to make sure we get up there.
Not that everybody here watching our live stream cares about Purdue University.
But if you want a beautiful campus, go check it out.
Yes. Chris and I just happened to go there, and I'm still paying off a little bit of my education.
No bias whatsoever.
I can't wait for that day. But anyway, again, you're watching the 2020 Indiana State Masters qualifying here on Saturday, 4:30 squad. Just getting underway here just about 10 minutes ago. Most players are in their 4th, 5th frames. And, again, you're watching lanes 5, 6, 3, 4, 7, 8 off to your left and right. And then 9, what do we have, Chad? 9 and 10, right? 7, 8, 11 and 12 off to your left and right when Chad will switch back and forth. We'll do that quite a bit so you can see all of the action. Again, you're skipping, isn't it 6 pair?
Yes, skip 6, bowl in the 7th pair.
And so you're moving a lot.
Yeah, you're seeing every bit of the house and every section of it, and all the characteristics.
And that's a must, because it's
Sure.
amazing how different from end to end it is.
Absolutely. Not to mention the people who you cross with and what you're going to when you move to that next game. It can really make or break a game plan.
Well, I'm looking over here. Tim Mack is over on lanes 1 and 2, and it looks like that he might have the front 4. Now, Tim bowled in the first squad of the day, and he was bowling well, and he happened to stick really bad in the 10th frame of his last game. And he had a chance, I think, to shoot 240 or 260. I think it was 240, and he ended up leaving, I believe it was the 3-6-10, and he chopped the 3 off the 6-10. And I don't know what he finished with. I didn't see where he was at in the standing.
+5, I think, is
was
what
it
he
plus
finished?
5? And boy, it looked like Tim's had a run of some
He sure
bad
has.
knees, and he's had a knee replacement.
Oh, he has, yes. Yep.
And
on his left knee.
he was fixing, and he's got a huge brace on his one leg, and
And
he just whiffed the head pin, leaves the rail, and Timmy Mack. Everybody knows. For one, they all know who Tim Mack is. But in his day, back in the 90s and early 2000s, there wasn't a better player in the world than Tim Mack.
What a competitor. I mean, what this man has done, not only here in the States, but across the globe, is astronomical. It's something that somebody dreams of doing, but he's done it. And not only is he a fantastic person, an even better bowler, but he's an ambassador of the game. And the bowling industry needs him, and he's done so much for the game.
And, a hell of a football player back in his day, a fire hydrant of a fullback. I'd hate to see in his young day getting run over by that guy. But Timmy has pretty much done everything there is in the sport of bowling. He's won almost every major event overseas. Matter of fact, many consider him maybe one of the greatest amateurs of all time.
Yep.
And it's great to see him out here competing again. We did see him at the Scratch Classic, I believe it was. Did we not?
I don't know if he was there or not.
We saw him somewhere.
Oh, yeah. I think he bowled at Thanksgiving Eve tournament.
Yes, that's right. We saw him in Lafayette. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He did win.
And this is the first time he's bowled the State Masters in a few years. Of course, his schedule is crazy.
Yes.
Matter of fact, someone was telling me that he is no longer going to be the tour rep, that he's going to be doing a lot more stuff overseas and will come back for the majors to help out Storm. So he took a new position with the company, and basically you could tattoo the lightning bolt all over Tim Mack, and I don't ever see Storm and Timmy parting ways. But like you said, Chris, just a great individual and really a great ambassador for the sport of bowling. I don't see a ton of strings outside of Tim's. He had the front 4, went 7 spare. We're looking across the front.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how others are attacking the lanes this squad, and if they're very similar from across the board from this morning and this afternoon.
Well, if you had a red dot on your first ball, which means you had a split. If you didn't, you better not have any dashes. You better have
Exactly.
spares.
Yep.
Because you just can't give away pins, and especially when the standings are so tight.
Oh, yes.
As it is
And
anyway.
it's like that way every year.
Right.
Clean frames is always key, especially in a tournament like this.
I should be nervous. Russ Mathis just commented on a post. Oh yeah. Oh, Russ, you're so good. Well, you got to be careful with Russ. You never know what he's going to say.
I'm glad you said that.
All right.
So something I've seen a lot of today is the unfortunate 7-10 split. There have been quite a few I've seen. Unfortunately, that I've seen on my own game and for others as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I got, in this first set, I made a ball change in I think it was around, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in the 5th frame. And I changed balls because I was on a 180 pace if I didn't change. And then I strung 5 in a row to get to the 10th frame. And I didn't really look to see what my score was. I didn't really want to know to put any more pressure. And I threw a great shot, and I left looked like the 7-10 was going to stick up. Ooh, Angie Collip here, the general manager for Anderson, our championship lanes, just dropped off a plate full of cookies. Of course,
They are hot.
no shocker that Chad reaches in immediately, right? Anyway, the 10-pin fell at the last second, and I ended up shooting 220, which got me into 630. But yeah, and then the very next ball in the field ball, I left the 7-10.
Just waiting.
Yeah,
Just waiting.
absolutely. And as you know, as a highly competitive player, there is nothing more. I mean, the 8 and 9 get you, yes, but you can make that spare.
Sure.
The 7-10 is just brutal.
It's defeating because you think you threw a good and maybe you're on a string and you need it, or just to keep yourself close, and then that pops up and it wears you out.
See the benefits of sitting in the booth here? You get some chocolate chip cookies dropped right in front of you.
You guys are doing it right, I'm telling you. Doing it right.
That's why you always compliment everybody around here, because that stuff keeps coming, And they just made that too.
Yeah,
You know how you could put the plug-ins in your wall at your house, and you come back in 2 hours later and you smell all that. I should
exactly what that is.
Drop a plate of those down, and that, I'm telling you, your house will smell wonderful. I can smell those from here. That's dead dangerous.
Very
I'm telling
dangerous. Looks like we're heading into the 6th, 7th frame. Some lanes are ahead in the 8th or 9th.
Well, you can see Trent just now leave the
goodness.
379, and
I didn't see his first shot. Hard to tell what he's throwing.
I saw you pretty much not necessarily mirrored what where I played, but I saw you play pretty straight in the first set.
Yep.
Kind of, you started off bad,
I did.
right? You really struggled.
It wasn't pretty.
Yeah, and then you came back in the second squad, obviously, and you shot
22.
622.
Yep.
What did you do different there?
I just had a different game plan of where I wanted to play on the lane. So I initially started on my first set. I played way right. So I was trying to play up 4, up 5, and I had to be perfect with it. And I was throwing my IQ tour, and if I missed in, it hooked on me. If I sailed it right, I never met the head pin. So once I finally was too stubborn to figure that out, I moved inside, and about between the 10 and 15, and just gradually migrated in from there. And I think I found something for the first squad, and that's what I started with in the second squad, and it seemed to work pretty well.
Well, and I don't know how you felt, but anytime I go right, and I'm left-handed, you're right-handed, anytime I went right, I was opening up my angles, and I got really, I was really hesitant, and I just couldn't relax because I knew if I missed left, it wasn't coming back. And I don't know how you I know the right side plays so much different than the left.
Sure.
Because you have a lot more traffic.
Yep.
Did you were you able to get loose? What made you, because I know you had a couple of good games to, start out with there. What happened, or did you get off to a real strong start, or Or was it hard to get that arm loose to begin with?
For the first set, yes, for sure. I was at the butterflies, I was just trying to get loose, and I just wasn't getting there. Definitely just.
You're human.
Yeah, you're human.
That tells you
absolutely.
you're human right there.
Sure. But going into the second set, I knew that I kind of wanted to open my angles up a little bit. I knew that the majority of the traffic on our pair was right-handed, so I could have the fortune of maybe missing or leaking it a little bit right and not doing anything crazy with anything exotic down lane. And that really kind of allowed me to get a little more relaxed and open up a little bit. I don't really think I ever gave the pocket away in the second squad, which I was very, very fortunate for. The problem is that the deeper you get on something like this, and depending on the ball that you're using, you unfortunately can get into the point where you're going to leave flat tens, or you make a minor move, and then you're going to 4-pin on the right side. But something like that on this type of pattern, you just want to again keep it close, make it easy, and keep moving forward.
All right, if you're watching the broadcast here on Savage Bowling TV, we want to thank you. Feel free to chime in our chat. Ask Chad how that chocolate chip cookie is that he's feeding his face with. If you have any questions for Chris Seyfarth, feel free to ask away. And I know a lot of people watch on here that maybe some are bowlers and some aren't. And they think, well, wow, I could do that. I could beat these guys. They just don't know how hard these lanes are. And the other thing, too, is, Chris, there's a big difference between a 3-game qualifying squad and maybe something that's 6 or 7 games.
Sure.
I mean, you just don't have a whole lot of room for error.
You don't. You're almost on edge every shot. If you can manage a way to keep yourself calm for every shot. Batteries. Yeah, so you don't really have the fortune of having a bad game. I mean, if you can manage to put something together for your next 2 games, thank you. You may be okay, but you really don't have the ability to really have a poor game.
Oh, that's scary. Gene Perez is standing behind me. I knew something was odd.
I can't put words together right
now. A cold breeze blew in. I might be Gene's good luck charm. Everywhere I'm at, he seems to win everything. So. Yeah, that might help when it turn that baby on. Anyway, looks like about 8th frame here in game number 1. And looking over at, looks like Timmy Mack went spare, then open strike after his front 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, the interesting thing here, I shouldn't say interesting, the stressful thing here is you could be on what you think is, I got 230 here, and then all of a sudden a couple of loose shots, and then you're staring 170 right in the face.
It's very, very easy to do. Yeah, if you're not committed to every shot and you grab it a little bit, or like you said, you get a little loose and you float it right or left, it's very easy to go from 230 to 180 real quick in a few frames.
All right, now getting ready to bowl, it looks like on lane 10 is Brandon Stogsdill from the Bloomington area. Now, Brandon won the 9 o'clock sweeper last night, shooting, I think, 520 something. And, of course, we were giving him a hard time because he got a no side action, and he would have crowbarred him. It looks like he is...
He's waiting on he's got Deadwood, it looks like.
Yeah, Deadwood on 10. And he's struggling a little bit here. Maybe not. I'm trying to look and see here. No, actually, it looks like he went open and then 4-bagger, and then a 5-bagger, and now he's got 9 spare. He's working in the 8th frame.
Mm-hmm. When you're bowling on something like this, it's very critical to make sure that your mental game is on point. And why that's so important is because you can't let what your previous shot affect what you do on the next frame, because you can really spiral down really quick.
Well, as you know, it's so important when you get into that 9th and 10th frame to if you could strike out in the 10th for a 190 or whatever. If you don't, you get 170. And how many times the really good players seem to find a way to strike out in that 10th to get that 190 or 2-0 and not go backwards like so many other players do. And I think that's the difference when you get into the PBA level. They just know, or they just find a way to grind out a game, and instead of going -20, they're +3 or whatever, and then they go off and build onto that by shooting, obviously bigger games. But you watch the guys, and the really loose and good players don't seem to worry about the 10th frame is the frame, I always feel like, because it's so critical to finish a game up where you're always thinking about, ooh, I need to spare here or whatever.
Yep.
And you talk to players, oh, I opened in the 10th, to shoot 180. And, those are – it's just amazing that the really good players can fill frames in that end of the game to pull out a good game or a good series.
And not even filling the frames. We're talking like split conversion as well. That's you look at the data, and the data shows that those PBA stars are making a majority of their splits as well, and that's huge. Count is huge, especially on tough patterns such as this.
A split that drives me insane that should have a high percentage of make, and you could probably set it up 10 times, I'd make it twice, and that's the 2-7. Or the 3-10.
Yep.
And most guys that's just nothing. They just make that every time. I never seem to be able to make that. And like you're saying, though, too, when you get a washout, good players seem to make that a lot.
Sure do.
And there's Trent Burns with another big split. Vu Dong over to our right of our TV pair here on lanes 11 and 12. Always good to see Vu out here. One of the I've never seen Vu with like a frown on his face. He's smiling no matter what he bowls.
He just enjoys the game. He really does.
Very delightful person.
Yes.
Bowled real well at the Scratch Classic, too.
Yes, he did.
Made a deep run.
Yep. And that was good to see. Trent Burns picking up that split.
Man, picks up the 2.
Making him look easy.
4-7-10.
See, where's he at?
He is on a 9 and 10. I think, let's see.
Is he E? 9E maybe?
Yes.
He's got 130 in the 7th with the 6th spare in the 8th.
He's still got 210
still
out
got
there.
A good number out there to get.
Right now, you're probably thinking, figure out a way to shoot 190.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Just grind it out and move on.
If you get anything more than 190, bonus.
Yes. Let's see, we got lane 6, Jared Musser. Yep. Going for a 230 here, the first game.
Chad, you want to flip over to 5 and 6 real quick? There you go.
Left the bucket.
You jinxed him.
I'm good at doing that.
I'm glad it's not just me.
I will.
It's anybody that sits behind the monitor is the broadcast jinx.
That's a one and done for me. You won't hear anything else from me.
It won't be the last time, Chris. Over here looking to see. Looks like Timmy Mack could still shoot 240. Went front 4, spare, open, and now he's got a double. And other than that, this 220 that Musser shot, there's not a whole lot of scores.
No. Definitely a wide range of scores coming in now.
Stocksdill spared in the 9th. He still has a 220 out there. I tried the urethane, Chris, and I'm telling you.
Was that a good look for you?
Were you wanting to laugh, or were you? I'm not kidding you. I think I could throw it for one game.
Okay.
And hit the pocket every time and leave 10 of the flattest 7th pins you'd ever see in your life. And I'm not so sure I couldn't leave a 5-7-10 if I wasn't real careful. I just, for me, I don't have the rev rate, and I don't. Of course, it wasn't sanded down enough, but Gene Perez and Matt Sanders, they just make that thing look so good, and people always ask, well, you're left-handed, why don't you? And I'm like, well, yeah, they've got, the 440 to 560 rev rate, and then
it's a totally different game.
A guy with 280 rev rate is not going to do the same thing with the ball. But I felt like, I don't know what you saw between your first and second squad. I thought I was caught off guard a little bit. I looked for the lanes to get tighter, but the fronts hooked more, and down lane was tighter.
Yes, I would agree with that for sure. Definitely in the first set when I was bowling so poorly, I was not recognizing that not until I got a little further inside, and then definitely saw that in the second set too, where I noticed I had a really good look the first and second game. When I got to the third game, that's when I started seeing those flat 10s start to come in. All right, so Tim's.
All right, Chad, pick up the microphone here. We're dying for this chocolate chip cookie review from Anderson here from Championship Lanes. Give us the rundown.
It was good.
I mean,
You should eat yours. See, I got to eat mine because I'm not talking.
oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Also, you guys were talking about the scores. What we saw the first two squads were, the scores were a lot lower during the first game down at this end. And then they kind of picked up. So I think this is pretty normal for what you're seeing now.
I always felt like the scores were going to be higher the first game because you had 10 minutes of practice on your pair, right? And then you don't know what anybody else was doing on your pair previously because, one, it's so hard to walk from one end of the house to the other. There's so much stuff in the way, and it's just not real easy to get around anyway to get an idea of scouting. But Timmy Mack
gets cross over for the first one in the 10th.
Huge break there.
Yep. Still on 240 pace.
Well, right now that put him in the 220s. Now Brandon Stogsdill, first ball here in the 10th on lane 10.
He gets it.
Nice pitch, and he's playing pretty straight.
He is. Looks like he's got a little speed behind it.
I am.
Able to forego that sharp spot off the back end of the pattern.
Do you feel like, I know some people are a little different as Tim's going here, crosses over it. Oh, my goodness.
Take it and run.
I never got lucky like that. But anyway, some people say, shoot 240 out of the gate, relax yourself. But, man, I tell you, I don't think you could ever really, truly relax on this.
No.
It's so easy to go 140 or 50 right after that.
It sure is. And just like you mentioned before, it's only a 3-game set, so that's always in the back of your mind. Hopefully your mindset's good enough that if you throw one bad pitch, you can still, move on from that. But I don't think you're ever really fully relaxed in a 3-game set like this.
Well, I sat and watched in my second squad, Chris Curry, who's a really talented player from Indianapolis, was bowling to the pair to my left, and he starts out 248, I think it was, his first game, and just had a really good line. Came down to the low end of the house, and he went 160 and then 170. It just had zero look, and then quickly that 48 pin cushion he had was gone. Yep. And it's so easy for that to happen.
In a hurry, it sure is. So like Tim finished up with 239 for game 1. Brandon still going. 234 for Brandon.
Turn down. Yeah, turn down the ball. Oh. It's going to be a long day in here, but we're going to enjoy it. Well, we got 221, 239. Brandon Stogsdill, 234. Randy Robertson can shoot 210. 210 somewhere over there as well.
Trent, hang on. Nope.
Trent's going to shoot in the 170s if he makes the.
I don't know what he.
Well, he left the 2.8, and that's not easy.
Not for the left side for a lefty.
No, here's Randy Robertson here on lane 9, the 2008 champion. And he leaves the 2-pin. He'll shoot 215.
That's a good game. That's a good game on this to start off the gate for sure.
And clean too.
Yep, that's hard.
Well, absolutely. He have a couple holes in there, and you shoot in the low 190s, and fill frames, and you got a chance to advance.
That's the key. Just make it to tomorrow, and then it's a whole different ball game tomorrow.
Well, and what you're trying to do is manufacture a double.
Yep.
Right. And stay clean. If you throw a couple of doubles in there, then all of a sudden you're in the two teams. Sounds so easy, doesn't it?
On paper.
Yeah. Hey, we want to thank the Anderson-Madison County Visitor Bureau for their sponsorship of the 2020 Indiana State Masters. Visit their website at andersonmadisoncounty.com to find the calendar of upcoming events, festivals, attractions, places to eat, and more. Visit the Anderson-Madison County at andersonmadisoncounty.com. The fun starts here. I want to thank them for their sponsorship. I also want to thank our other sponsors, Motive Bowling, Pinheads Bowling Center, and Fisher's, Mike Alby's Arrowhead Bowling, Lafayette, Big Four Socks, and Dave Slavin is on site here selling his gear and wear, and I need to probably go over and get me a pair of...
He
left.
for
Darn,
the
I
day.
needed a pair of gray and blacks.
Will he be here tomorrow?
No.
Bummer.
Darn.
Well, he also has his Facebook, and
Yeah.
and then here at the Pro Shop, or is the Pro Shop here as well? Okay.
Yeah. You got to try those out.
In Muncie,
Great. Socks are wonderful. And,
they are super comfortable. If you, for those who are listening or who've never had a pair of the Big Four socks, I highly recommend it. Very comfortable.
I think once you get used to them,
Yep.
because they are a little more padded. Once you get used to them while you wear them, they are great. My feet don't hurt, and I wanted a pair of those black and grays. I
Those are
really
pretty
like
sharp,
those.
right?
Yeah, yeah. You can wear those with anything. I'll have to maybe see about getting a couple
I
pair
tend
for
to mix
Dave.
my colors up. I got a blue and green on today,
Well, you
so I don't
mixed
really,
them up a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought if I made it to tomorrow, I was going to wear my lucky green ones, and that's what
I think you get to wear them tomorrow. It looks like.
Yeah. Chad, you want to switch over to 5 and 6, and we can at least watch them on 3 and 4. Thank you, sir. A.J. Roach is on this pair. Looks like Jason Flaw, too, right? I think. Is that
he's
Jason?
on 5 and 6, looks like. Yep.
Yep.
Get me bowl on 6 here.
Jared Massey off to the left here on 3 and 4. You'll see him bowling right there, picking up the 6-pin, which he does. Looks like maybe Danny Clark on 3 and 4 as well. Also, Rich Logan looks like he's on this pair. 9 and 10 just getting ready to start. Looks
Jason
like
really in on his shot. Oh, and with the
I tell you, Jason's is sneaky good.
he really is. No doubt about it. Oh, I'm sorry. He let the 7-pin. I thought he got them both down.
He's sneaky good. I mean, he always seems to bowl well everywhere he goes. See who else is around us that we can watch. Jordan Gray on 1 and 2.
Looks like we got Zach Coombs from Evansville on 1 and 2 as well. Just a little shout out to him.
Looks like Jesse Gibson might be on 9 and 10. Jesse with the Vincennes bowling program. Of course, the longtime coach Gary Sparks retired a few years ago and enjoying the warm weather of Florida. Why don't you put some of that in a box,
And send that up
Gary,
here,
and
please.
mail that up here to Indiana for me. Appreciate that.
So definitely still seeing a lot of different angles trying to be played. Definitely going in here into game 2.
Still see a lot of them right,
Yep.
which, I thought if you could play that, it's the safer route. Obviously, you said you didn't have as much success, and I think that's what makes the right side so tricky is you have people playing all different kinds of angles.
Yep.
And you're trying to battle that as oil is being absorbed and moved in different areas, and it does make it very challenging
Sure
as
does.
being a right-hander when you, especially with different surfaces. If you watch the left side, the lefties, they're all out in the same spot of the of the lane. I haven't seen too many lefties playing in. Trent Burns was about as far as right. Even Gene Perez was throwing something right up the ditch.
Oh, goodness. Okay. I wasn't near him today, so I didn't see how he
course.
was going about it.
And he just has so much hand.
He doesn't miss much, does he?
Oh, my goodness. He does not. Well, and a lot of people, too, battling a little bit of the approaches are just a little bit tacky in here. And, of course, you got some moisture outside,
Yep.
and it's actually cooling down quite a bit, but it was a little bit, I think yesterday it was in the 40s going in late. Of course, you get moisture in 40s, and,
It's a bad
synthetic
recipe,
approaches
yeah.
don't like that very well.
You're right about that.
Yeah, if it's a humid day, good luck. I'll be honest with you. I mean, nothing against the synthetic approach, but I do miss the old wood days. I know they're
Few and
a
far
dinosaur,
between, yeah.
aren't
Yep,
they?
They sure are.
But boy, you knew what you were getting.
Yeah. No worries about sticking or sliding too much or.
Yeah.
Yep.
You were
Full confidence going up there and throwing a shot.
trying to catch a little glimpse here of what Tiger was doing at the PGA event. I love me some Tiger Woods. I know it's not bowling related, but who doesn't follow Tiger? Well, he finished 3 under today, minus 7 for the day, weekend, tied for 9th. He'll be in contention for tomorrow. You look at the weather there on the TV screen for the golf, and it's like, man, I wish we had some of that sun, warm weather. Of course, this is bowling season here in Indiana.
It wouldn't be an Indiana Masters bowling weekend if we didn't have some form of crazy weather. It always seems to happen. Some kind of snow, rain.
Hey, Chad, you want to flip over to 9 and 10, and we can find out who all we have over here. Oh, Kevin McCune
Okay.
is bowling. Boy, Kevin is a talented young man, the son of Eugene McCune. And I watched this kid right here on Lane 10. I watched him in a tournament earlier this month up in northern Indiana in the Mishawaka area. And this was tournament. It was an 8-game block. And I saw him play up the ditch, hand straight back behind the ball, throwing it really hard. And a game later playing 25, swinging it from end to end. This kid has all the tools to be a very successful player, and obviously he's got the good bloodlines being the son of Eugene McCune.
Certainly helps.
Nick Squires now here on lane 9. Nick has bowled well. He bowled well last night in the sweepers. Two-handed player here from this area with the Team Brunswick shirt on. Of course, we have Trombetta as well here on the right lane. I believe he's from the region area.
See how Nick is attacking the lanes. Looks like he's going to play somewhat straight up. Right up 10 to 8, looks like. Maybe 12 to 10. Goodness. Good shot there.
Boy, the two-handers aren't going away anytime soon. And Chris, what do you think 10 years from now? I mean, what percentage of two-handers do you think you see out there in the future? I mean, all the young kids seem to be doing it.
I mean, every 2 out of 3 kids out there are probably going to be throwing the two hands. I mean, it's been great for the sport. Some may have different ideas about how it's impacting the game. I think it's great. I think it's Jason Belmonte, Oscar Palermo. They have done just really phenomenal things with that approach. And when kids see that on TV, they want to mirror that. And they're getting really good at it.
Well, they like to see the ball curve a lot, right?
Sure.
And even tomorrow's show has two-handers on there, Patrick Handerhan and Jesper Svensson.
Yep.
Both two-handers. And matter of fact, you have 3 left-handers, I believe, on the show. Yeah, Simonelli's the leader. Of course, a lot of guys are going to be pulling for Brad Miller. Great guy. Obviously, everybody knows Brad and Kyle.
Yep.
Kyle was leading the squad after the first round of match play, and Brad was like 3rd, and could have been the Brad and Kyle show for tomorrow, but Kyle really struggled in that second block, and I still think he finished in the top 7 or 8.
Yep. What a job Fox has done this year and last year for the PBA telecast. They've done just an awesome job, making it very viewer-centric, and all the stats and data that they show during the matches. They've done a really good job of beefing up the telecast for sure.
I find it I find it so much more interesting watching it on Fox. Because you're right, because you have so much more information. The player throws a shot, and then for the next 3 or 4, maybe in the next 30 seconds, I'm looking at, okay, this is the board he hit, the speed, where was it at the arrows, and then where was it at the chaser if they have the tracers down lane. It's just so much more information, and I think the sets look incredible. I love the lighting and everything that goes with it, and I agree with you, Chris. I think Fox has really made the PBA cool.
Yep.
And the shows are interesting, and how could you beat last week's show with Tommy Jones shooting a 300 again?
Yep. Earning being inducted into the PBA Hall of Fame, and then going
Wins
off
number 20.
Oh yeah, title number 20, shooting 300, and then title match. I mean,
I don't know the exact number, but there's only a handful of guys that have won more than 20 events. I think it's probably less than 20 guys that have won 20 events or more. So you're in an elite category there.
yes, and even on the same show, I think Chris Barnes is at 19 titles,
Yes.
and so he was in contention as well.
Well,
so,
that's why those two were ribbing one another.
Sure.
Well, because I don't know if you remember, but in the telecast, Tommy says, "Well, he beat me to 40. He beat me to age 50. He's going to beat me to age 40, but I'm going to beat him to 20." And 20 being the titles, and he did that. And we have the front 4 over here, Chris, on lanes 1 and 2. Boy, too bad we don't have a camera behind there. 1 and 2 must be halfway decent. Bill Story went front 3-7 spare, and now he's on lane 1. I know you can't see it, but we'll update you those scores. And he just light strike there. Not sure what he had after his first game. Looks like Nick Squires struck again. That kid's done a bunch of striking this weekend. I don't know if he's bowled yet. We'll look at go on iTunes or whatever where you download your apps, the App Store, and download the team app. Comes in handy. There you are, Chris, in 26th. And Chris Kolela had a heck of a set going and then finishes with 154.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, he was 91 over after 2.
Oh, wow.
He finished at plus 45. Kevin McCune is bowling again, and he's at plus 36. Let's see, who else do we have here?
What's the cut right now for 48?
Minus 2.
Minus
and
2.
That's I think it's about where
That's
it
on
was.
par, right? Yeah.
It's just that top 16 is a little bit higher than previous. You're probably looking at 590 minus 10 to cash, probably, I'm going to end up guessing. Here's the thing. You got 120 guys that are bowling right now that aren't in this, right?
Yep.
You're going to have some duplication, and then same for the fourth squad, but there's going to be so much movement here.
Yep.
And, when you're looking at this, though, Chris, you have essentially 28 pins separating 25 guys.
That's incredible.
So every little pin,
Sure does.
getting 9 or better on your fill shot, not 5, right? It just makes a huge difference here.
And if you do leave that unfortunate split, getting the count off of that's a huge win.
Yeah, and it's going to be real interesting to see where that number for 48 is going to. I was really hoping that, and you'll be in the same boat, that my 32 over would keep me somewhere in the top 30 or so, which I think it's probably got a chance. But again, when you bowl those 2 extra games, and those are stressful.
Every shot is a stress. It's a stress.
I mean,
mess.
it's only 2 games.
Yep.
You make one. You have one bad game, and you are in big trouble.
You really have to hit the ground running on that first couple frames of those games to get comfortable and get moving.
Well, and a lot of times here, they don't have duplication taken out of this yet. So really, Gene Perez is in here at +1, and he's also in here at +75.
Okay.
So you take him out, and that cut score goes to -4. Okay. Anybody else in here twice? Birchfield. I think Birchfield's in here twice. Yes. So he's in at +11 and +41. So take him out, and that cut goes now to -5, and there's a 3-way tie for -5. So once they take those duplications out, that'll make a huge difference in where that cut number will be. But I think if you're 10 over, I wouldn't even sweat it. I wouldn't think, but hey,
Crazier things have happened.
I think you're going to have a lot of guys too that have bowled. Maybe this might be their third squad, and the what we want to say fry is the word of the day.
The fry is real.
I tell you, I bowled 2 squads, and I was mentally exhausted. I just felt like I could never just really relax. Well, whoever had the front 4, it was
The Jordan?
yeah, Jordan Gray had the front 4, and he went, it looked like 8 whiff in the 5th. And that always hurts. And Nick Squires just barely making the 10 pin
Squeaking
there.
the 10 pin off there.
Oh, and he got lucky. Almost left the 2-4-8-10 and just has a 2-4-8. 10 fell late. Jared Massey off to the left of your screen here on lane 4 from Lafayette. He's got the all-spare game going and leaves the 5 pin. Everybody raise your hand.
Oh. The Story just chopped the, looks like the, what was that, the 4-7? Chopped the 4 off the 7?
Drop the 4 straight back.
That's frustrating.
Well, you know, in league, you make that 99.9% of the time, right?
Yeah, right.
All right, here we are, game number 2 of the third qualifying squad for the 2020 Indiana State Masters here on Savage Bowling TV. Scott Gilmore, Chris Safarth in the broadcast booth for this squad. And also want to thank sponsors that have brought this broadcast possible here to you here on Savage Bowling TV, and that's Motive Bowling, Pinheads Bowling Center in Fishers, Indiana, Big 4 Socks, and Mike Albee's Arrowhead Bowl. And we don't want to forget the fine people of the Anderson-Madison County Visitors Bureau. And right now, bowlers can stay up to date with the website for Indiana State USBC. You can visit them at indianastateusbc.org. You'll find a link to all of their calendar of all their events with dates. And you can go on to indianastateusbc.org to find out where and when you can bowl in upcoming events, Indiana USBC Open Championships and more. And also, you can also get into some scholarship funds and find out more about that as well. The Dan Kappa Memorial Indiana State $500 scholarship for the male senior, and so much more. Go to indianastateusbc.org. Not a lot of strings right now that are and we do have Nick Squires with 9 spare 4-bagger, and he leaves the 2 pin. Jason Flaw with the 4-7-10. And Jared Massey with his first strike there on lane 3 that you can't see. We're back on 9 and 10, and another 4-7-10.
Andrew Moulton, lane 11. 10 back, pretty good shot.
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot. Nick Squires had some, little string going. It looks like we do have a 9 spare 5-bagger. I don't know, is that down on 11 and 12? You kind of get off to an angle here, and it's kind of hard to see what scoring monitors
like
go
it.
with.
Yeah, it looks like 41C.
Yeah, that
Whoever
would be
that
11
boy
and
is.
12.
Yeah, okay. We'll see who that is when they get up there next.
One thing I do like is they also carry the score over with,
Yeah,
right?
Yep, I noticed that today. I didn't know that it followed you from.
But you can't look now because that's adding their current
yeah,
frames to
sure.
what they've had already. But yeah, I thought that was kind of ingenious in a sense. Not sure who that is. Was that Andrew Moulton with the spare 5-bagger?
It may have been.
Oh, good for him. Don't know what he had his first game, but it looked like he might have struggled a little bit. But of course, they don't add up all the frames when you have a string going.
Good shot. Lane Chapman, lane 6. So from what you're seeing so far, Scott, do you think the lanes are transitioning a little bit differently since the first 2 squads, or are they pretty much on pace of what you've seen?
Where I've seen guys play and gals, they seem to be playing the same parts of the lane.
Yep.
The question is just how the heads are going to hold up. I think that's what's, we said earlier in the broadcast, what caught a lot of people off guard was the heads went away much quicker than they were expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And then the back ends were tight.
Yes.
My Apple Watch goes off and saying, gives me the old exercise note saying, hey, you're behind where you're normally at. And I'm like, I just bowled I had mental exercise
Yes.
that did me in. Now you're going to look at Nick Squires again here on lane number 9. Let's see. He's gone 3-bagger, spare. Oh. Got that one a little left. Fortunately, just the 5-pin.
Good shot from Jesse in lane 11. Oh, that's a unique pickup.
The unconventional way to make the 3, 9, 10.
Yeah. Yep.
3 off the wall, taking out the 10, 9 backwards in a sense.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing. If you pinch it just a little bit in for a righty, you're probably going to hit the head pin flush, or you're crossing over. Especially if you're playing an inside line right now, anything from 15 to 10 or further in.
Well, and you just, I personally feel like in a 3-game qualifier on this type of pattern, there's a lot of luck involved. You have to get some breaks.
Sure.
And
can you capitalize those breaks?
Yeah.
That's key.
Yeah, can you carry the ones that you throw really well?
Yeah.
I'll say this, it's a lot better to watch than to be out there right now. It's a lot more relaxing. 7 and 8 will be your championship pair again for tomorrow. And we got bonus bowling for you on Sunday. We're going to be live streaming the Advancers round, the 2-game round before the top 32 are announced. Top 16 are guaranteed into match play, and then scores 17 through 48 come back in the morning and bowl 2 games, and then the top 16 bowlers from that Advancers round will be seeded 17 through 32nd, and then that'll be your top 32 match play. and they'll bowl head-to-head matches until we get to a winner. It's double elimination, and if you get beat in the first round, you got a long day of bowling ahead of you if you want to bowl for the championship.
Sure do.
It is a lot of bowling.
Got Landon Chapman up here bowling a really decent game here.
Oh, nice shot. Ripped the
turkey.
rack.
Yep, great shot. Nice and simple.
Well, you don't have to. Yeah.
Keeping the pocket in front of her.
Yes.
She's on her way to a great game.
And you try not to get too far ahead of yourself.
It's easy to do.
You know, the old cliche is in order here, one frame at a time.
That's exactly right.
Don't try to, if I do this and this, I shoot this, then you're in trouble.
Yep.
Right now, anything 2-teen or better is a great score.
See, like Jason's going to make a ball change here on lane 5. Let's see what he's got in his mind here.
Obviously, he doesn't like his reaction because that's awful late in the game to make a change, but he's probably thinking I'm on a 160 pace, 170. I can still shoot 2-teen here if I can string something. Boy, he is deep already.
Man.
And he gets a
He
strike.
got it. Tough to see what he was using before. It maybe have been a vapor zone, perhaps. It was blue. Tough to see. I don't know what he went to. It was a red ball that he just threw.
That would be a katana slash,
Okay.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
From Radical.
Yep.
Or a katana. I can't remember. It's one of those two.
Okay. Oh, looks like that was Andrew Moulton with that string of strikes, and he's unfortunately found the split city on lane 11.
Is that a 7-10 he left?
Kind of looks like it.
Oh.
It's hard to see.
Oh, man. If that's in the pocket, that's just an absolute crusher because you're staring an open right in the face.
Yep.
When you've thrown a good shot. I still think, I know the 9 and the 8 is a bad break, but the 7-10 is by far and away the worst.
Oh. Great shot from
Flat 10. Well, make this, and you're still on a 2-teen pace with a chance to shoot 220. And you get to the last game, Chris, and as you know, you see what you could potentially or where you could be at, and boy, there is so much stress in that final game because you're trying to post a score.
Yep.
Like we were talking about Chris Kolela, who went 230, 250 and goes down on the high end of the house and shoots 150, right?
Yep.
And luckily for him, he had 90 pins to the good to work with, and he used half of them, but it's just so hard and so much stress to finish out because you're trying your best anyway, and you're posting a score, and that's what I think is hard. That's why I've always liked match play a lot better. I'm not posting a score; it's just me against my opponent, and I just got to match or do a little bit better than he does. I don't have to beat him by a lot. 1 pin is all I need.
Yep. Certainly a little bit of anxiety going into that third game, especially if you're plus 20, plus 30 going into that game. You're going to a new pair. You have no idea what you're going to see, and you're trying to throw a good shot. And then if you see something that you're not expecting, it's probably going to cause you to tense up a little bit. Hopefully you can just stay relaxed and throw good shots. But that third game can cause a lot of anxiety for those bowlers who are right around that bubble. Jason Flores leaves a Swisher 7.
Yeah, he was thinking, throw a couple of good shots here and I could be 2-0. And now he's staring 180 right in the face. We're going to see here Jordan not finishing up well. He opened in the 9th here on lanes 1 and 2. Bill Story still has 220 out there if he strikes out in the 10th. And now Jason Flaw for his spare, and he gets it. The guy coming out of your left side of your screen here, you'll see his ball come down the lane here in just a minute. Oh, Bill Sleeves, a stone 9-pin.
My goodness. What a great shot.
Rich Logan, who is a left-handed senior player, and Rich always seems to just bowl just enough to make it, doesn't he?
Yep, he sure does.
He's just kind of...
He doesn't do anything fancy. He just puts the ball where it needs to go. And
well, he pulled that one a little right, and fortunately just the 7-pin. He still has 210 out there if he can strike out. Make this spare. Now Bill going for his spare here. You see it right there, and he makes it. But, you know, if you come off of a 179 or 180 game, boy, that first one in the 10th gets you plus. Now you're still staring at a, you know, at an even number.
Yep.
And anything can happen at that point.
it sure can.
I don't know if they have the updated standings yet from the app. We'll see what we got here. Yep. Let's see. Mike Svilar shot 243.
It's a great game.
Tim Mack 239.
So he went. Was that his first game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lee Nisi went 236. Brandon Stocksdale, we saw that score of 234. 227. Andrew Moulton shot 227 his
and
first game. And
he's back on the strike train again. He got the strike in the 9th. So he's got
a good start going here. I believe he could still shoot 240, right?
It sure looks like it. 244 maybe.
Yeah, so that would be huge. Joshua Ambergi shot 225, as Jesse Gibson did as well. And Jesse's got a 3-bagger, it looks like, on lanes 11 and 12. You'll see Jesse coming out of your right side of your screen here. And there's this ball right there. And, ooh,
well,
fortunate.
out. Yeah.
Fortunate to leave just a 3.610. Other notable scores, Tyrone Hawkins, 224. Bobby Rice, 224. Zach Rhodes, 222. Obviously, we saw Jared Musser shoot 221. Dustin Delk, 220. Randy Robertson, 215. Brendan Holford, 214. Mark Sullivan started with 214. Didn't see anybody else notables. Shane Beeman, the bartender, shot 204 here. Cameron Clark shot 200 on the nose. Right now, if you just took these scores, even par is 70th position. I mean, obviously things are going to change quite a bit, but right now I would drop all the way to 23rd place. So that's about, I mean, I think that obviously those numbers are going to change quite a bit here.
A name that I didn't hear you say was TJ Schmidt, I don't think.
Ooh, you're right. Let's see if we can find TJ. Let's see. Kevin McCune had shot 198 his first game. John Verbich, a name that everybody should know here, shot 195. He had a block. The first squad, he went 195, 194, I think 191 or 192.
Oh, goodness.
Just said he couldn't
grinding.
couldn't get anything going. I see Zach Weidman shot 192, Zach Carey 192, Kevin Walters 192. Kevin, one of the owners of Pinheads, right?
I believe so.
Beautiful bowling center. Man, they did that right. Mike Lish and Danny Clark 191. Trent Marner 189. Nick only shot 189 his first game. I don't know what Nick had in his second. He can shoot 226 if he strikes out in the 10th. He's got 176 in the 8th with a 9 spare in the 9th. Anybody else finishing? It looks like Rich Logan could shoot 210. He's got the first 2 in the 10th.
Great shot. 210 for Rich Logan.
Yep.
It's a good game.
Looks like Jared Massey shot 220. That's a good game. I don't know what he had his first game. We'll find him. Ooh, I must have missed some. Oh, they don't have everybody.
Got, Andrew Moulton coming up on the right side of your screen on lane 11. First ball in the 10th coming up.
Fortunate to leave just the 128. You make that, and you're still in the 220s, and you're still looking at, 240, or 450 maybe. This only goes down to 120th place, so, and I did not see T.J. Schmidt. That's his first.
Oh, okay.
So he shot less than 187 his first game.
All right. Well, if there's anybody who's going to figure it out, it's going to be that gentleman right there.
Well, TJ's won everything that there is to win
Yeah.
in the state of Indiana.
All right. Andrew covers a spare, so he's got 220, 230.
I tell you, the anything with the head pin combination, like the 124 or the 136, there was no gimme
No.
if you were trying to hook at it, because it hit that. If it hit a dry spot, it was going left or right.
The difficulty level definitely increases on something like this.
Just so easy to chop spares because the ball sometimes just it hits the friction and it just goes sideways.
It sure does.
Well, it's officially dark outside, Chris. And that's the bad thing about winter, It gets dark so early. Just going to try to see which one Trent Marner.
He just left the. I think he is 37E on lane 7. So he's on 7 and 8.
Ooh, so he just went 6 split, huh?
I think he just did Greek Church.
Oof, 5-3.
5-3, yeah.
He can't get anything going either.
Oh. Mr. McCune crushes it. I don't know where that puts him. 50. Transfer, 205?
Oh, and he just misses the head pin left. The body language of Trent Marner is like, are we done yet?
And, sir, you've got one more game to go.
Andrew Moulton shot 233. That puts him at plus 60. Now all of a sudden, Chris, you're thinking top 3 or 4 right now. It's plus 87 right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, and just like you were saying earlier, now here we are going into that third game. How are they going to handle the transition, the change,
And the pressure.
and the pressure?
Absolutely.
That's going to be who's going to come out on top.
But the difference between being 460 and maybe 410 is huge.
Yes. You probably feel like you have a little more breathing room with that 450, 460 look.
Boy, people are just enamored with you.
It's been all day. I don't know. It must be the shirt.
You working out?
No, I wish I say I was.
It must be that Mighty Morphin Power Ranger in you.
That's a conversation for another day there. But
People are going,
been
whoa,
all-
let's go there.
been
Wait
all
a
day.
minute. Let's go there. Now that I opened up the Pandora's box, per se, big fan, right?
yes, I am. A big nerd when it comes to that kind of stuff. The Power Rangers, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the stuff that I grew up with in the 90s.
Now, are you going to like Comic-Con in Indianapolis like a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger?
No, I have attended a few in Chicago, and that was interesting to say the least. Good people watching, but there's a lot of passion for that kind of stuff
Sure.
too for those people. So,
Well, it's part of your childhood, right?
sure, yeah. The nostalgia is amazing, and some of the cool stuff they've done with some of the rebranding of some of the new shows they're making and bringing them back out. It's really interesting. It's fun to watch that.
You talk about your age, mine was Thundercats, He-Man, Voltron was somewhere right around the latter part of my childhood. But anyway, it's always fun to go back and look at that kind of stuff. Let's see, Nick Squires just left that wasn't the first ball. Nope, second ball in the 10th.
He's got 2 teen out there.
And that's going to put him at that tough number, plus
Yep.
3, 2, 3, 4, somewhere around there. where you just you feel like you don't. Brian Walker started to
Look at
interrupt.
that.
You don't see Brian that
No, you sure
often.
don't.
Now, he was a past winner of this, but that's going back to 04, 05, I think, somewhere. But Brian, a past winner. Of course, the tournament has changed so much from those early years to today. There's so many more entries, more bowlers, and which makes it harder,
Sure.
right? So,
Something that you didn't have to worry about 3 or 4 years ago was, am I going to be able to get into the next squad? And now they're selling out before the first ball's thrown, even in the 9:30 squad. So,
yeah, you literally have
you
to
you
go
have
up while you're
prepay.
bowling.
You sure do. That, or you prepay 2 or 3 squads in advance, and
That's what I do every year.
Yep.
I just go ahead
That's a
and
smart way to
prepay
do
the
it.
first 2 squads early, and I'm done.
yep,
And
you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. All right, Chad, you want to switch to 5 and 6 real quick? We got bowlers starting here. Let's see, who do we have? Zach. I see Zach Carey standing by here. We have Cameron Clark, Brian Walker, possibly. A lot of good players. Looks like we're going to have here on 5 and 6. You ever feel like any pressure when you're on the live stream pair?
The first couple times that I was on it, for sure, yeah, a couple years ago. But now I just try to, make pretend that it's not even there.
Yeah,
Just-
you don't
just
even
go-
realize it's
no,
going, right?
No. Just kind of have to put those blinders on and just
Yeah.
bowl your game.
Don't embarrass yourself. Don't embarrass yourself.
I've done that for sure,
Right.
but we've all had our moments.
Oh, Dave Small making his way down here. I bet you he stops.
May push me out of this chair. I'm going to jump in here with you.
Yeah, Zach Carey here on lane 5, leaving, looks like, just the 2.
So we're kind of in the middle here. We've got a couple game 3s already starting. Game 2's finishing up.
Well, the one thing that's kind of nice is when you're on a pair like with maybe Carey and Zach Carey and Cameron Clark and Brian Walker, those guys play pretty similar and you can help one another,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Maybe try to keep up, you want to keep your spirits up and keep you into the game. And it's good to be on pairs that have guys that are all, similar to you and you have good rapport with. Because you're trying to help one another. You're wanting to win, but you're still trying to help one another as much as you can.
Ooh,
Brian
triple
Walker rolling the 2. Brian goes to my barber.
That's funny. That's good.
Oh, I know you don't have to worry about that. You got that
Not
nice
yet.
full head of hair.
Thank you. Yeah, we're
Good clean living, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
But it takes work.
I haven't had to comb my hair in the morning in years. I'll get that thing shiny for tomorrow. I'll straight razor that bad boy. All right, who do we have on? Chad, flip over to 9 and 10 for me. So let's see who we got starting over there. All right.
Ryan Mooney.
Ryan Mooney, the current head coach of the Purdue Boilermakers bowling team. Looks like John Verbic here, too. Another good pair we got here.
Ryan was a standout collegiate player, correct?
Yes, both for McKendree.
Okay, that's what I
National
thought.
championship team.
It's a
very
pretty
good.
pickup for the Purdue team, no
Yes,
doubt.
a lot of knowledge there as he trips the 4. Currently now coached by the O'Keefes.
What a pair that is. How
yeah.
awesome is that?
Yeah, it is. I mean, those Shannon O'Keefe, one of the top, not only females, just one of the top players in the world, regardless of sex. She is very good.
Yes, no doubt about it.
And a great person, too. Another one of those. Hi, David. Hi, David Small.
Hi, Dave.
Welcome. David coming in from Kokomo today, right? High school bowling. We're going to be here next week for the Indiana High School State Finals. We're excited about that. And obviously Dave and his staff here at Championship Lanes and Angie Collop do a wonderful job here hosting these events. And that'll be another busy weekend for Championship Lanes here in Anderson.
Is that a one-day event?
That is a
team
one-day
and
event,
singles?
yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah, we start bowling early in the morning, and we do singles for both boys and girls, and then we'll broadcast the step ladder finals, and then we'll do the team event, and then we'll do both the boys and the girls simultaneously. We use 7, 8, 9, and 10 at our finals pairs, and we'll broadcast them both at the same time.
That's awesome.
The shotgun approach.
Oh, my.
It's important to catch those breaks.
Yes, it is. We got Trent Marner on lane 7.
Well, Bailey Maverick, a name to know here in the state of Indiana. He won the singles portion a few years ago in high school bowling, and
he's here today, isn't he?
He's here today. He's actually on, I believe, 11 and 12, and just threw a strike not too long ago. But boy, he is one kid that has really improved here in the last couple of years.
Yep. Just saw a Mark Sullivan sighting. I'm not sure what pair he is on.
My vantage point on 1 and 2 is gone. Trent Marner finishing up. He could shoot 195 with the back 5, and he does, or back 4.
That's a great save. He's at 384 at the turn. He pops something off big here this next game, he'll be in pretty good shape.
And Cameron Clark with a strike. And he starts out with a double. You know, sometimes when you're bowling, you think, all right, start out with the first 4 or 5, and you can get loose. I just never.
No, I saw that too many times a day during the second set. Somebody would have the first 3 or 4, and then next time you turn around, then you got 170s or 180s out there.
Well, and you know, I even caught myself this morning bowling, or even last night. I had spare like 6-bagger, and here I was in the 8th frame, and I'm starting to think, ooh, I have this out there if I just do this, and you know, instead of shooting 250 or 60, I shoot 240, and that's what you got to be careful doing. You just can't. Oh, Mark Sullivan on 9 and 10.
Yeah, just like you were saying earlier, it's really easy to really get ahead of yourself, especially on a tough pattern like this, and you're really wanting to bowl well, and you see yourself in 290 pace, and that can get ahead of you.
A really good pair on 9 and 10 with Burbich, Sullivan. Now, Ryan Mooney on this pair, and Mark with the spare. He had strike to start. I tell you, I tell a lot of people, I said, you know, I think his day is coming on winning on the PBA 50 Tour.
Yeah, he's not too far from it.
He competes every week when he's out there. And obviously, you know, with a full-time job himself, he can't go out every week like he would like to, I'm sure, but he'll hit quite a few stops during the season. And, boy, they've expanded that, too, as well.
Sure have, yeah.
Which is kind of nice. You know, I'm 2 years away from that, unfortunately. Ryan Mooney coming through the face, 3-6-10. And a 3-6-10 right next to him. Old Dan Fennenberg right there on lane 11.
Haven't seen him in a while.
From Southern Indiana. I used to do a really good impression of Dan Fennenberg. I won't do it on the air, but I love Dan. Mike Lish right off to him, to his right. Mike defeated me in 2015 for the Masters Championship. It was just his year. He bowled really good that year.
So we got Mark coming up on lane 9. Let's see his approach on his first ball here.
He has played the outer part of the lane all weekend.
Looks like that will hold true here. Great shot. Great shot. That was something I didn't see very much of, especially in the first set.
Well, I think you had to, you know,
you had to be pretty perfect with it.
Well, and you had to have a certain kind of roll.
Yep.
You know, you had to get a lot of forward roll, so it didn't blend
it
out the pattern a little bit more.
Yep.
Anything with a lot of side turn, it had just weird reaction off the down lane part of the pattern.
Ooh.
Of course, we're watching everybody bowl, and unfortunately, we might comment on something that's
Right.
off camera, but
Ryan Mooney. Oh,
oh,
lucky break.
fortunate one at that.
Yes.
Almost a 4.9. And he should be able to get a spare, right? You throw one that good, the pocket splits are just brutal. And you remember this place years ago, Chris, had twister pins,
Yes.
and that was very common.
Yes. I do remember that.
I mean, you actually moved your feet to keep the ball coming in light because that was the best hit.
Yep.
And the sidewalls here at Anderson or at Championship Lanes are very active. The pins really bounce.
Good spare out there with the 4-pin.
Somebody must have opened the door over here on.
A little cool down here
Yeah,
now.
a little cool breeze came in. I thought, wait a minute, Gene Perez behind us again? I love giving
There's
Gene a
Bailey
hard-
Maverick, lane 11.
Yeah,
Great shot.
two-hander really has gotten a lot better. I mean, he's gone spare, strike through 3. Here's John Verbic on 10.
All right, good shot.
10 back. Well, John shot 190 his first game. See if we can't find some updates here on. Of course, I got to check my Facebook. Somebody responded to something, so I want to make sure it's all clean. All right. Hey, don't forget to go to Savage Bowling TV if you want to follow us on Twitter if you got questions to ask. Also, jump in on the chat page here on our YouTube channel for questions, and if you want to know where guys are at standing-wise, let us know. We'll try to get those answered to you. If you'd like to ask Chris about his Mighty Morphin Power Ranger
Oh, goodness.
addiction, feel free to do that too as well.
Might be barking up the wrong tree there.
The sad thing is Lisa's the one around here that's got the drink in her hand,
Yeah, right.
right?
Yes. let's keep her away from the commentary.
Yes. Let's see if I can find our team app here. See if they got it updated. Not yet.
Yep.
Obviously, it's a little difficult, when you got as many bowlers, it takes a little time. Everybody finishes at different times, and then they got to go through and collect all the sheets.
Yep.
So we'll probably have an update here on game 2 in about 2 or 3 frames here in this third game. We'll finish out the broadcast and wait as long as we can. I doubt we'll have squad standings after this one before we shut the broadcast down, but 3 games go by in a blur, don't
They
they?
sure do. I felt like I just sat down here with you guys, and now we're already in halfway through game 3.
Again, now you're watching Cameron Clark. I don't want this to be it's not necessarily a backhanded compliment, but I've always expected more out of Cameron Clark when I watch him play. I feel like he has all the tools. He's got a good, solid,
Yes.
I've always commented that out of all the bowlers I see, your physical game is one of the best I've ever seen.
Thank you.
I've always felt Cameron's not at the level of you as a physical game, but I've always felt like Cameron, not necessarily been an underachiever, but I've always expected more
Sure.
out of him.
Yeah.
And I just feel like he throws it that good.
He does. He has a very strong foundation, no doubt about it. And when he gets into the area, the part of the lane where he's most comfortable, he's very unbeatable. But I think his versatility is something that he continues to improve upon. We bowl together in a traveling scratch league on Monday nights in Indianapolis, and he definitely uses that as a night to improve and enhance his tool and skill set. So he'll get there, no doubt about it.
And he's still young.
Sure.
But, I've always watched you in amazement through your time not only at Purdue, but and now as you get a little bit older, that how much that you're able to post every shot. And it never seems like you're ever off balance. I don't know how much you work on that, but that's definitely a skill set that you've mastered from this standpoint in your career.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that means a lot. That's something that I do take pride in because it allows me to see where the ball is on the lane. If I repeat the shot, something that I have to use it to take advantage of, in order to bowl a good game out there. Because a lot of these kids out here nowadays, they're much more stronger than I am. They have a lot more revolutions, and they can create a lot more power than I can. So I got to do everything that I possibly can to kind of get that winning edge. And having a solid game like that kind of puts me in a better position.
Well, they have no conscience. I mean, it just seems like, you know what I mean? It's just like
just autopilot.
Yes,
they
it's just
go.
absolutely amazing.
Yep.
Oh, Brian Walker with the strike
Great.
there. It's just, you know, to me, it just seems like, you know, nothing really bothers them, and there's no pressure, and, you know, it's like they don't know any better, and it's just amazing
Yep.
to me how they can just do that time and time again. And the young players are so good anymore. And I've told a lot of people, it's a young man's game. I mean,
It is.
you know, now this is why I like the Masters, because it's not so much about how many revs, and it's about how strong are you mentally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because things aren't going to go your way.
That's right.
Every game.
Yep.
Can you handle adversity? And and I'm a grinder. I've always been a grinder.
Yep.
I
I'm
even
right there with you.
Even in league, I don't post all these 780s and 800s and 300s. You know, I mean, you know, a great game for me is shooting 240. I mean, that's just how it is for me. And but I try not to have any real low
It's a great shot. by Cam.
points. But yeah, there's the evidence right there, ladies and gentlemen, of why I think Cameron Clark could be a threat to win time in and time again. I don't know what's holding him back, but he has all the tools.
He sure does.
Well, he didn't learn how to throw a ball from his dad.
No, being a left-hander
And no hand.
and yes, you got that right.
Yeah. But
Even with the wrist brace on.
yeah. And, you know, I will have to say this. Cameron has matured quite a bit. He's a great guy.
Yep.
And I enjoy talking to Cameron when I run into him here at the bowling centers. And I think if anybody would deserve a win, you know, he is one of them. I would always be happy to see him take home a championship. I know one of these days you're knocking on the door of these
Goodness,
things.
man, I'll tell you what, it's heartbreaking at times, but it keeps driving me and makes you just want to work that much harder. And one of these days we'll get there. We'll get there.
Nice spare there from Michael Llewellyn on lane 7.
Yeah, what was that?
That was
3, 4,
the
7, 10?
Yeah, 3, 4, 7, 10.
Goodness. Zach Carey, lane 6.
Wow, that's way right.
Maybe that may have been me again.
Yeah, if
I got to stop that.
if that struck, if that came back and struck, I'm just gonna go load up and plan on commentating the rest of the weekend.
Talking to Mr. Circle could test that shot.
Brian Walker comes in Brooklyn, leaves just the 3. Oh, let's see. What do we have here on 9 and 10? We got a 3-bagger. Mark Sullivan had a little string going. Check the app here to see if we got some updated standings. Nope. Uh-oh, somebody blowing you up?
Somebody had asked me, or just text me and said they have some Power Ranger questions for me. So I want to thank you, Scott Gilmore, for making that a topic of conversation.
I'm sorry, Chris.
It's all right. It's all in good fun.
From one alumni to another,
That's
right? I think it's great. I see nothing wrong with that.
Nope. I still have all my toys. I think my mom and dad have them. Well, who is that? Oh, hi. It's Dave again. Hi, Dave. It is. You caught me off guard.
Ooh, Mark Sullivan with strike spare 3-bagger here.
And you don't have to stop.
Huh?
You don't have to stop.
Well, you know.
And there's the broadcaster Jinx. Mark comes in high, leaves the 6-10. You know, if we get to a 300 game, I'm not saying a word.
That makes 2 of us.
Well, we haven't partaken. Chad, as
didn't miss a
Angie
beat.
Collop has grabbed in or stopped into the booth.
Oh, John Verbiage with a strike on lane 9.
What's that? Yes, we're talking. You're fine. Angie was so nice. Angie was so nice to bring us chocolate chip cookies. She couldn't believe we haven't eaten one yet.
I'm just waiting, and this is my dessert today. So.
Chad's like,
I mean, he's looking at them.
he's like the
salivating.
vulture.
Yeah, I've been looking at it. For
I bet you. They're not as warm as they once
45
were.
minutes.
You got yours like really warm, right?
They're good.
Were they? Yeah, they were. They look delicious.
Yeah, yours may not be as good.
Mark Sullivan with the spare there. And 6'10".
We'll definitely eat one before the squad is over.
Yes.
So I didn't mean to blow up your phone.
Oh, no,
there.
you're fine. I think.
Hopefully you
No,
know
you're
that
good.
individual.
Oh, yes, I do. Yeah. It wasn't some random number, which wouldn't surprise me nowadays.
But
either.
they probably already know that, though.
This is true, yes.
All right. So, hey, you know what? At least they're listening.
They are listening.
And
that's
watching, right?
And
Yeah.
the funny thing is, they're not even bowlers. But they are great friends of ours, Matt and Sarah Reese. If you're out there, thank you. Thanks for the love.
All right. How's Dad doing?
He's doing good. He's retired now, playing lots of pickleball. Rides his Harley in the spring and the summer. He's doing good, enjoying life.
Retired. I didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah, he retired full time about a year and a half ago.
Man.
He was still playing kind of that amateur baseball up until 5 or 7 years ago, so he can outrun me any day of the week.
Well, that's amazing, and you love to be able to retire when you're healthy.
Yes, yep, and he's taking full advantage of it.
All right, let's see what we have here. Mark Sullivan going to be stepping back up on lane number 9. Who else do we have over here? Anybody else doing much? Cameron Clark looks like he split in the 7th. He's got to strike out for 2-0.
Got a little string on 3 and 4, 19E.
I don't see much, do you?
No, and I wonder if this is kind of a product of what we were talking about earlier about the third game jinx.
Yeah. It's not just us, is it?
No.
It does. It's much more challenging. We still don't have scores up. Whoa, wait a minute. Updating? No. What a tease.
Don't hold your breath.
Don't say updating and then you don't update anything. Come on. Technology.
Gotta love it.
Ooh, Mark with the split.
Yeah, I didn't see the shot, but the result was not good.
Well, the 4.67 is almost impossible. You got to bounce something out. Have you ever made the 4.6?
I have not.
I did one time, and the only time I ever made it was in youth, where I just barely hit the 4-pin, and it just went like straight over. And I've made 7-10. Have you made that?
I have actually at the Union at Purdue.
Oh, at Purdue. I made mine in Terre Haute, down in Terre Haute in a college event.
Okay.
And that's the only time I made the Big 4 in a PBA regional.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you made that. That one's
No.
almost. And, it was one of those where I made it and it didn't even matter. You know what I mean? It would be like make that in a crucial situation to advance or something like that, or make a cut. That would have been
Be
fantastic.
really cool, yeah.
Also, fans, we're going to be down, Chad and myself, we'll be down at the PBA tour stop in Indianapolis. And we'll also be down there for the Roth-Holman doubles as well. And we'll have some interviews and updates from that tournament. We look forward to that, so you can follow our YouTube channel at Savage Bowling TV on YouTube. We'll have some more information there. Hopefully get back with Brad and Kyle as well, follow up to our interview from last year and catch up with them. And again, though, we'll be back here next week right here at Championship Lanes for the 2020 Indiana High School Bowling State Finals. Excited about that. We'll be back here again in March for the 2020 Indiana State Queens. I'm assuming Lisa's going to be
She will be bowling. Yep.
bowling in that, your better half.
Yes.
My wife just had neck surgery back in October to repair a couple of discs in her neck, and she just now is starting to get back into bowling. I'm not going to toot my wife's horn here, but she had surgery at the end of October. She picked up a ball Thursday for the first time and threw one game, and then she pre-bowled for league, and one of her games was 256.
Goodness.
So I was like, man, I
must have a good coach.
Yeah, yeah, not me. But I'd sit 3 months out, and I'd be lucky to break 125. So, anyway, some people just have the ability to replicate. Her game's very simple. I'd love to see her bowl the queens. I think it would be great to see her come out here and compete. Obviously, she's bowling like that. She's got a couple of months to get ready. But we look forward to that. And then some exciting news, Chris, for us. We pretty much have a 3-year commitment from the Indiana State USBC to broadcast all of our state championships. And Chad and I are going to make plans to broadcast live stream the Hall of Fame banquet too this year.
Oh, wonderful.
So we're excited about that, and we're excited that the Indiana State USBC is committing to broadcasting the state championships and get bowling out there and try to grow the sport.
Absolutely. We definitely have the tournaments, and we have the athletes to come out there and to bowl, and so now we have the platform here to showcase them, and so that's awesome.
Now, Mike Albee will be coming in tomorrow to broadcast the finals of the State Masters. Right now, I might be in the booth, I might not. But we look forward to Mike making that trip back, and
he does a great job.
Yes, and Sullivan. Oh, it falls late. Oh, he didn't see it.
What was it?
Oh, he left a 4-pin, and the pin rolled around and missed it. And Mark was upset, and the pin came back around again and knocked it over just at the last second before the rake hit it. What a break there. That's coming right off of a split. That's a huge break for Mark.
Ryan Wallachek. Ryan Walker,
I know
sorry.
that name.
Goodness, just doubled in 8th and 9th. He's got a good setup going into the 10th frame.
I bowled with Wally when he was at Saginaw Valley State. I was at Purdue. Boy, Wallachek was a fantastic player. All right, what do we got, Chad? We're on 5 and 6. Let's flip over to 9 and 10. Ryan Mooney is getting ready to bowl. John Verbich will be first. And John's working on a spare. Oh, and he trips the 6 pin. He's got 148 in the 7th. Boy, I'd love to have an update after game 2 to see where some of these guys are at. I'm going to have to get on. Nope.
Nothing.
I'm going to have to get on Circle to get this updated.
Yeah, because we are wrapping up the 3rd game here down on this end.
Well, yeah, we're down. We're starting the 9th frame in some pairs. Some are starting the 10th frame. Some are done. 1 and 2 is already done. I didn't see where Bill Story finished at.
I did not either.
I want to thank you for sitting in with me here for the 4:30 squad. Appreciate your time. I know you guys are going to be heading back to Indianapolis. Catch a good night's
let's hope
sleep. And Danny Clark here coming up.
Goodness.
How'd you bowl, Danny?
180, 190, nothing.
180, 190, nothing. Well, nothing doesn't score very well.
Well, thank you for the invite, Scott. Very nice of you.
Anytime, Chris.
It's been a pleasure to speak on this squad here.
Well, and as we watch now, Cameron going open here to finish the game out. We'll be in the 140s. And, I just watch him bowl, Chris, and I just see so much more there, and I just don't know why the stars haven't lined up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a matchup with equipment or just a comfort level thing. But he'll get the kinks ironed out, and he'll be all right.
All right, Mark Sullivan here with a strike in the 8th, working in the 9th. He's on a 2-team pace, and it comes right through the face. Lucky just to leave the 3-6. And that's no gimme.
No, not on this.
Now John Verbich, he'll step up. He's got a chance. He's on a 2-0 pace. He's got a strike in the 8th. He can still shoot 230. Oh,
flush with the first one, yeah.
Verbich just seems to bowl well every year here.
Yep. Big spare.
Good spare.
Still got 2-teen out there for Muggs.
I'm going to run out here and just see if they have some scores posted on the inside so we can see where a couple of these guys are at.
For those watching on 9 and 10, looks like they're waiting to get a couple pieces of deadwood out, maybe a ball return. And they will be heading into wrapping up their 9th frame here shortly. Bailey Maverick to your right, lane 11. Let's see where he's at here. It's like he's really lofting the ball there. Got the 10 out, 2-8. Let's see, where's he going? Okay, so he's got 145 in the 7th. The strike in the 8th and looks like a 2-8 in the 9th.
Well, I looked in for updates. No updates yet. I had to yell at Jeff. Like, now, come on, get these updated.
He's usually pretty punctual when it comes to stuff like that. We'll have to write that as an opportunity on the survey.
All right, everything else is great, but the live stream says updates quicker. It's not like he has anything else going on outside of just keeping the scores posted.
Bailey with the 2-8 spare.
Oh, you gotta love random people standing behind you. We apologize you're offended. Great way for Mark to get the deadwood out.
All right.
Okay, now Ryan Mooney here on the left lane. It looks like he's got 130 in the 7th with a strike in the 8th. This is a big shot for him.
Sure is. Oh.
Wow.
You just see the ball read. You could just see it.
It looked good off his hand.
The projection looked good, and then it just picked up.
That was the problem that we saw earlier, Chris, was just the front started to go away.
Yep.
Then you had a hard time getting the ball down the lane.
And then if you forced it and you actually got it to the spot, you didn't know if you were going to carry or not. To kick that corner out.
See, we don't have updated scores, but I was going to try to get an idea if I could find out where Mooney was after 1. 204.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and he missed it.
Yep. Sure did.
As soon as he let go of it, he looked down. Man, that's a killer. Now he's staring 180 max. So he had to have a big game here for it. Now right back to Mark Sullivan here. This is 10th frame.
Go. Good
Oh,
shot.
yes.
That's a great shot.
I'm telling you, those are so hard to really peel off your hand crisp.
You got that right.
Because you're trying to place it in a certain spot. And
the margin of the room and the margin of error you have there is very limited.
Brian Walker went 5-count washout, but he is going to be at 2-0, 202 right now. And our attention goes right back to Mark Sullivan here with a chance to shoot 214 with all of them in the 10th.
Do you recall what he had the first game?
I believe he was in the 2-0s.
Was he?
But I'll double check.
We can only speculate what it'll be since it's
right. We have no idea what he
Yeah.
did game 2 yet. Let's see. He shot 214 game 1.
Okay.
And he can match that here in game 2. And
That's a great
beautiful shot.
You know, if there's somebody that I want to post a shot in the 10th frame and that has to have it, and I want the ball in his hands. No doubt about it.
There's not many, if I needed a clutch shot, Mark Sullivan would be one of them I would pick.
Yep.
Gene Perez would be another one.
Yeah, that's not a bad choice.
Even in the most dire of situations, one thing, Gene is going to catch a handful.
Yes.
He's not going to get cheated.
No. You'll get your money's worth.
On the release. Brian Walker shot 207 his last game, and that was pretty much it on that pair.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
That's a
I am seeing nothing here from lane 6 on down.
It was a 215, but I don't know who it was on 3 and 4.
Yes,
But that's
not much, was there?
about it.
And now Mark Sullivan's fill shot here on lane 10.
Great.
Oh.
That's a great 10 frame.
High flush. Oh, we got some
All right, here
updates
we go.
here. Boy, you ask and you shall receive. Oh, this is still just game 2 is in here. Let's see. Andrew Moulton is plus 60.
Yep.
Well, let's see. Jesse Gibson plus 27. Where's Mark? TJ 170, 240 plus
All right.
20. Let's see. John Verbiage plus 7, and he's got a chance to go plus 30 in this game. He's going to be in the 20s. He struck the first ball on the 10th, but I don't see Mark Sullivan's name here, which is not good. He was minus 5. He goes to plus 9. So he went, is that right? Nope, that's a wrong one. That's an
It's
old
hard to
one.
read. Is that a? Let's see with Verbiage. I'll let you figure that out. Verbiage getting up to step up in the second ball on the 10th.
Yeah, I don't
And
see.
throws 10 back. Great shot.
Unless I missed him here on the first page.
He's got 230 out there. Verbiage does.
Yeah, that's going to put him in right now. He must have really struggled game number 2.
Ooh.
Oh, Tim Mack, 160 his second game, plus 6. Yeah, I don't see Mark at all here.
Let's see. John gets the fill ball here.
Yeah, he's not on here, Chris. He must have really had a bad game.
John Verbiage just shoots 238. What a great game to end on.
That's when you're loving life.
Yes.
He's going to go to plus 45. And so,
See, who's stepping up on lane?
wrapping things up here for the 430 squad. Well, you know when you're throwing at 100 mile an hour, you have
probably
no
given up.
care in the world.
Yeah, you are done mentally.
Yes. I did not see him in there. Boy, that's got to be really frustrating for Mark because I don't think he's going to bowl again.
Did he bowl the first two already?
He bowled the first. He bowled the second one, but
Okay.
did not bowl the first. So I don't. It's going to be a. I don't know if you're wanting to stay until 8:30 to. A lot of guys won't. I mean,
And then just
you're
turn
going to
right
literally
around
get
to
up. Get up right first thing in the
Yep.
morning.
Sure are.
Now, the top 16 are guaranteed to advance to the match play portion, so they'll bowl later. If you're in that 17th through 48th, you come back, I believe, at 9 a.m. or 9:30.
Yes, it's not, that sounds about right.
There's the entry form right in front of us. The semifinals are at 9:30 in the morning. Finals at 11. So you kind of make up a little bit of an extra hour of sleep per se. Again, want to thank our sponsors for making the broadcast here of the 2020 Indiana State Masters possible. I want to thank the Anderson Madison County Visitors Bureau. Visit their website at AndersonMadisonCounty.com or stop by the Visitor Center at I-69 and exit 226 across from Culver's in Anderson. Visit AndersonMadisonCounty.com. The fun starts here. Also, want to thank our other sponsors, Penheads Bowling Center in Fishers, Indiana, Big Four Sox, Mike Albie's Arrowhead Bowl in Lafayette, and Motive Bowling, the official bowling ball company of the Indiana State USBC. Well, that's going to pretty much wrap up the third round of qualifying. And we'll try to stick around here. Maybe we can get. Love to find out where some of these guys were at. Mark Sullivan must have really struggled game number 2, because unless you can see him on that list, I could not find him. He was plus 14 after 1. He shot 214 game 2 or game 3, but we don't know what he shot game 2. And
Ooh, shut that door.
yes, we're right. We're only about 50 or 100 feet from the exits. When that door gets open, some fresh air circulates through the building.
So that must have been his 1 o'clock squad.
That was his 1 o'clock
Okay.
squad.
Yeah, I didn't even see him.
Yeah, so he must have. And if you look, when you get to the last page of bowlers, I mean it's minus 22.
Yeah.
So that put him somewhere. He probably shot 170 or
Sure.
so, maybe even lower than that. So unfortunately, Mark's probably going to be on the outside looking in this year. And he didn't sound like he was ready to bowl another squad after this. We'll see if we can't get a word here with our 2017 champion. Is that on? You go ahead and test it out, TJ.
Hello.
Chad, can you turn on the wireless mic? It's not on.
Why are we doing this?
Turn it on.
It is on.
Hello, can you hear me?
You maybe have to turn him up a little bit.
I wish it was that.
Tell him to put up into his mouth.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you
we
Yep.
can hear you now.
Yep, there you go.
TJ Schmidt now in our booth. We're so formal here, you know. We're professionals. You just can't quite tell it yet. Anyway, I saw you struggled a little bit, and you did your typical 170, 240. Tell us a little bit about game number 3. Good news?
Not so much. Shot 186 with opening the 8th and 9th. And could have punched in the 10th, but I went strike and then I left an 8-pin. Not a good one. A light 8-pin. And so 606 is what I finished with. So now I'm going to play the...
Waiting game.
Yes. I mean, I'm probably bowling again.
Goodness.
Let's be honest. I came down here to win this thing, so
Yep.
I'm going to bowl again.
Well, that's why you get a hotel room on Saturday night, right?
Exactly.
Well, one, you're what, 2 hours away, so you have no choice there. But
Yep.
the plan is to bowl on Sunday, and I think 606 is going to be close. But scores are all over the place. But
They are.
just when you think, a couple of guys have it locked in, and then all of a sudden, I was telling Chris here that Chris Kolela shoots 230, 250, and then finishes with 150. So even if you're in that 220, and you shoot 150, you go from plus 40 to even, and you could be on the outside looking in.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And every bay is completely different in this house, and it's all about finding which ball will give you the most miss room quickly. That's the biggest thing, is
Well,
finding
sure.
it
Had that
quickly.
cookie.
Well, there went your cookie.
Yeah, that's okay. It's okay if you took it.
Tim Mack stealing our goods here.
Steal my cookie. So, TJ, what did you see in terms of lane play compared to the other two squads you bowled? Is pretty similar as far as breakdown and ball choice?
Well, I would say the second squad I tried to play right and had a lot of early friction. And this last squad, it was much tighter to the right. Had to be much more perfect. So I ended up balling just way down to a hustle that I had 1,000 hand surface on it, and just kind of kept it in front of me. Went about 18 to 10, and just let it roll into the pocket.
Yeah.
Bowling bag or a pocket or something.
Yeah, definitely saw a wide variety of people trying to play the lanes and how they're trying to make their approaches. It looks like those that were more inside for the righties seemed to have a better look overall.
Sure. I would say the second game that I shot the 249 with, I was following a group that was throwing a lot of surface, about 16 or 17 out to 7-8. So I knew I had that bank. So
Sure.
I kind of just moved just inside of them and was able to take advantage of their hook they created.
It's a beautiful thing.
I don't know if you're seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. But it looks like to me after every time that they're, obviously they're redressing the lanes after between squads. Rather, they're getting tighter, but it looks like the fronts are going away much quicker than I thought they would have. Right now, it looks like you got some early hook and some push down lane that's really starting to make this a little bit tricky.
Sure, and that's what I've found the last couple years in this tournament, where I have a hard time playing right of 15 period here because of my ball roll. I've got a stronger roll that I cannot get a ball to get down the lane. So I have to open it up from the very beginning, which means that first game, which I typically struggle on, which is true today, I have to be much more perfect on the fresh.
Timmy's stealing all of our cookies.
Goodness, and trying to feed me. That's all right. You better be making them.
Yeah, I want to see him make them. That's it. Actually, no, because they probably will come back burnt.
Or half eaten. So
So the plan for you right now is to jump in the last squad of the day?
Sure.
all in.
Yeah.
You are so much more mentally tough than I am.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm so close. Like that's the
I
thing. It's I was a spare away the first set from a 6-0. I shot 6-0 this set. I mean, that's just one more hit, switching balls one frame earlier and finding the right look.
Yep.
So it's just gonna try to have to stay ahead of it.
Yeah.
See, like
And
that's like and this is going to be really bad. I shouldn't probably say this. It's like the drug addiction of bowling, right? Yeah,
Sure.
one more hit, or it's just that it's
Yeah.
and it just tempts you out there. But
Sure
obviously, at your level, it's a different. I mean, you play at a high level, and you obviously have supreme confidence in your abilities, and you've won this before, so.
Sure, and tomorrow's a completely different ball
That's
game.
exactly right.
Today is just kind of stay out of your own way and find a way to get some doubles, and then tomorrow is battle the lanes because, they get really squirrely tomorrow.
Sure.
All right, well, best of luck. Thanks for stopping by the broadcast booth. TJ Schmidt, your 2017 champion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so that's going to wrap up qualifying here from Championship Lanes here in Anderson, Indiana for the 2020 Indiana State Masters. Want to thank Chris Seyfarth for joining us here in the broadcast booth. Chris, best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much
and,
for the invite.
We'll see you in the morning, and best of luck, and hopefully we see you in the match play portion.
Absolutely.
All
Yeah,
right.
be great.
Okay, that's going to wrap things up here for squad number 3. We'll be back on the air roughly just a handful of minutes. The last squad starts at 8:30. We'll be on the broadcast somewhere around that time. They're going to be a little bit late, so it's probably going to be closer to about 8:45 at least at the earliest. We'll keep you updated. But, again, standings will be updated when we come back on the air for the final squad here at the 2020 Indiana State Masters. You're watching it here on Savage Bowling TV. Want to thank our sponsors once again, the Anderson Madison County Visitors Bureau, also Pinheads Bowling Center in Fishers, Indiana, Big Four Sox, Mike Alby's Arrowhead Bowl in Lafayette, and Motive Bowling, the official bowling ball company of the Indiana State USBC. Again, thanks Chris Seyfarth, Scott Gilmore, and Chad Lester here. We'll be back with the 8:30 squad sometime around that time. They're probably going to be a little bit late, but we thank you for watching